Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Big MX Radio Podcast. This broadcast is brought to you by Racetech. Racetech suspension and engine. You can actually save with Racetech when you call their headquarters in California and mention Big MX Radio. You're going to save 15% off your entire order. So if you're ordering gold valves, or if you're getting new spring, new suspension components, or if you're getting some engine work done, you can save some money with Big MX Radio by mentioning that with our friends over at Racetech. And there's some of the top level privateers in this sport that rely on Racetech to get them through treacherous tracks like we had this last weekend. I am your host, Brad Gebhart. With me on the line, a very special guest. He's a repeat offender on the podcast and the co-host of Racer's Mindset, which is this is definitely one of those podcasts. Andrew Hopson, otherwise known as Hoppo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to knocking this episode over. So, how are you these days?
Hey, I'm not doing too bad, man. I'm not doing too bad whatsoever. I look out and I don't see green grass, but I see a lot of brown grass. And that means that we are not long away from me from getting some throttle therapy. I'm actually driving a race car this weekend, which is going to be a completely different kind of throttle therapy that I'm looking
Nice.
forward to. I'm driving an unwinged sprint in the beautiful country of the US of A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to drive down with a buddy of mine to do a little test and tune with yeah, with that whole deal. So I'm excited about that. But before we dive straight into this podcast, talk two-stroke cup, we're going to talk about morning routines. We're going to talk about a brand new or a new athlete coming to represent the Triumph brand. We're also going to talk Deegs. We're going to talk 250 East. And also, of course, that 450 championship that's coming right down to the wire. Two things for you. I wanted to talk to you about the Hoppo Fit. You've got some new clients on just this week. We're looking to add to it. What are you offering, man? Tell me a little bit about Hoppo Fit before we dive straight into this.
Oh, look, it's a little fitness company I started on the side. I like to help people, and I like to get people in the best shape of their life. I had a goal to do that, and I've surpassed that. And I just like to see people be healthy, happy, and obviously ride motorcycles better, faster, and safer. So it is somewhat geared around motorcycles at the time, but I enjoy helping the guy that's a little out of shape and needs to get back into life and breathe some life back into himself and his family as well. So that's what it's all about, just being fit and healthy and having a good life.
Absolutely. And I am a benefactor of that because I am a Hoppo Fit athlete. I'm down
Correct.
17 pounds from when we linked up for the World Vet National Championships, where I all but embarrassed myself out there on the track with complete lack of fitness, no riding time, and yeah, some lap times that were yeah, just like we're not even gonna bring that up really. But like I said. I'm in way better shape than I was 4 months ago, 5 months ago now. I'm dropped weight and I'm also moving more weight in the gym than I have in the last number of years. I know you don't often push a lot of weight in the gym. You're more of an endurance guy. Like I know you do some strength training, but part of the program that I asked for you to make me was to put a ton of bricks in my ass, like I did back when I used to play football. And proudly, I was able to get 4 reps at 275 goddamn pounds on my back. And yeah, I got to thank you, man. I don't think I could have done it
Yeah.
without you.
Well, that's a mean feat. I mean, just the 17 pounds in itself from World Vet, you
Yeah.
can see it, you can see it in the face, you can hear it in the voice, and you can see it in
Yeah.
your energy. So, and it's an addiction to be better, and that's what I like. By the next time you come around, you'll be even stronger again. I mean, sometimes that strength doesn't always correlate to being faster on a motorcycle, but it definitely does help.
Certainly. I've always thought to myself, like I've always had a muscular frame. I've always like carried more muscle than most. Just because typically that's how I like to train. But I also think that carrying a little bit more muscle has kept me together. Aside from multiple shoulder dislocations, which you as well as I know, once the shoulder starts to go, there's not anything you can really do for it. But I've had some hellacious get-offs and that some people would probably say if I didn't have more muscle on my frame, I'd probably break into pieces, but I haven't. and stayed healthy for the most part. And I think that it's attributed to the fact that I do carry a little bit more muscle. I prioritize stretching and mobility. So when things go wrong, I bend, I don't break.
Yeah. I mean, strength is key, right? We all know that strength, lifting weights, strengthens the tendons, the joints, the muscles, and strength is just far superior. But you still need the cardio on top of that as well. But you're on the right track.
Yeah, and I do I appreciate you adding some cardio to the end of all of my workouts, and then I've also been doubling down on doing the sauna after that. So that's definitely contributing to the weight loss and just feeling better. And yeah, like I'd like to think that by the time that we're in mid-season, I'm more than fitting into those 32s that I was squeezing into last year.
There you go. That's a
Yeah.
good goal to have.
Yes, sir. So let's get straight into this. This was an event that I wanted to be able to attend, but for financial and schedule reasons, I wasn't able to do it. But you were able to. You were Mr. 875, and for those who don't know what that means, that's a 125, that's a 252 stroke, and a 500, all in the very same weekend, all prepped, all dirty at the end of the weekend. And yeah, you didn't get a lot of practice in, but it's Glen Helen. You got a few laps there. Tell me about the Two Stroke Cup over at Glen Helen this last weekend.
It's always one of the best and favorite races of the year. Just two strokes in general. Everyone there is there for a good time. There's always a caliber of people that come from worldwide. I met some good English guys on the weekend. We've become friends. One of those looks like it's going to be a client as well for coaching, so it's all good. So yeah, I had a goal that I wanted to ride the 125, or actually the 300 and the 500. So I found a 125. I rode the 50 plus Pasha class. I rode the 50 expert on the 300, and then I rode the vintage on the 500. Leading up to it, well, Friday was going to be open practice day, but it rained, and
Yeah.
I wasn't dragging out any bikes to go ride in that. That's for sure. And then typical Glen Helen, come lunchtime, they're laying water down. It was already dry. It was very wet and soupy in the morning. But the track ended up turning out being awesome by the end of the day. Very rutty, deep ruts, and then as usual, dry, hard pack, and square edge choppy on the hills. So, but it was a I'd never ridden the 125 until Saturday morning.
Ever?
Um, I know I'd ridden one, that one in general. Like
Oh, okay.
the first lap on it was Saturday morning. Um, couldn't get used to it. It would take me, and that was the
They're
biggest thing
funny,
I
aren't
found.
they? Like you got to ride a 125 different.
Oh yeah, and I didn't get good starts, and I'm stuck in the pack, and then someone would fall over and run into them, and just all that chaos in the back of the pack stuff. Um, so anyway, the first race was a Pasha race, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I sucked. And then it took me about a lap to get going, and once I worked it out, I think I got up to 15th or something like that. But it was definitely fun. Then I got on the 500, so I went from the 125 to the 500, and it was like, I got 80 odd hours on the 500, so I pretty much know everything that thing inside out.
Yeah.
That was good. I think I got a fourth place in that one. Now I jumped on the 300 for the 50 expert. I thought I would have done a little better than that, but I had to conserve energy because I still had three more motos. So we did that again, the 125, the 500, and the 300. So I was the second last race of the day on Saturday night. My last moto went down at 6 p.m.
Good Lord. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the 6 p.m. Moto because yeah, when the sun starts to fall down in the on the mountains there, the track is at its absolute worst. It's the longest part of the day, and yeah, people like I think the worst part about that is when you're taking the bike to the line, you see like an absolute like a wiener line of people leaving. Like they're already
Yeah,
packed, they're already on their way out, and you're like, I wish I was in one of those RVs right now, but no, I'm going to go race my motorcycle. And the last ride was the 300, correct?
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least you could have done yourself a favor by, or it would have been worked out if you ride the 125, which is, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if that would have been like a energy saving bike for you. Yeah, maybe it doesn't take as much out of you out of the way the bike hits, but the way you have to ride a 125, especially if you want to ride it fast, is maybe more energy sapping than the 300, even or even the 500 or even the
Well,
300 for that matter.
I mean, I was raced what 4, 8, 13. So there was 4 or 5, 6 motos. The pro races weren't in the program; they were just added in there, so that
Right.
added a little extra time. But not knowing some of that and not being able to hear the speaker all the time, what race they're up to. I mean, you're in. The biggest energy drainer really is just having your gear on all day. Like you're just wearing a pair of boots all day, and then you
Yeah.
get on.
And
Then you
you're just
get on the
like, is it
bike.
time yet? Is it time yet? Oh, like, do I have enough time? Do I have to go pee?
Yep.
Do I have time to eat something?
Yeah. So I mean, and you just lifting those heavy boots around all day long. Then you get on the bike, then you lift your legs in the ruts, and So I was pretty tired the next day. I was actually pretty tired on Monday still. So 6 motos, and most of them were 15, 20 minute motos.
Mhm.
And the downhills were brutal. So it didn't matter what bike you're on. If you went down at any speed, I mean, it was you were just getting bucked around all the way down. And
Mhm.
trying to pick her up because the traction changed all day long. And the big thing was I had 3 bikes with 3 different sets of tires. And that was very noticeable at the end of the day. It's like, oh my God, I know what they're all going to have next time.
Yeah. Did any of the bikes have a scoop on it?
No, I looked at on Friday night. I came home and I had a scoop and I'm going to put it on the 500. And then I talked myself out of it, and I'm glad I didn't actually. I mean, a lot of guys had them and they say they don't mind them even when they go hard pack, but I have ridden them before, and on the downhills they tend to come around a little bit if you're heavy on the brakes. So I opted not to, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
There you go. There you go. And they had a little bit of a different layout. This like they had you guys not going all the way to the top of Mount St. Helens and then turning back around. Like you went up the uphill first and then back down the downhill. That usually the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what layout they use. Yeah, I mean, that's somewhat the normal way when you go all the way up to the top, and then we come down, then we made a big right, went along the bottom and went halfway up Showy, then back down and around. So the layout was pretty fun. Definitely, there was no smooth real estate at the end of the day.
No.
Nowhere. It didn't matter where you went. You know, it was just rough, rough, rough.
Fair enough. So glad you enjoyed yourself. Did you get some hardware for your troubles, or were you outside of the money?
No, I was outside the money. The closest would have been on the 500 in the expert class, but I almost had third, and then I screwed up in the last moto. One guy got past me, and like I said, I mean, the goal was just to really ride the 3 bikes, 6 motos, and obviously drive out of there under my own steam because I've gotten out of there before, not under my own steam. So that's always the goal.
Yeah, within this last calendar year, and of course you were riding Dave Feeney's the late great Dave Feeney's
Uh,
500. That must have been cool.
no, I didn't.
Oh,
That
okay.
was Nick LaPuglia that rode that.
Oh, really? Okay, I did
Yep.
not know that.
Yeah. So Nick was the one that rode it. I rode mine, and Nick rode that, and he'd never ridden one before until Saturday morning, also, but he rode it pretty damn well. So,
Honestly, 500s are fun. I've gotten two different opportunities to ride one. One was like a service Honda, like with an aluminum frame.
mhm.
That was less fun than the KX 500 that I rode, which was like I just left it in third, honestly. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Such a fun motorcycle. But let's put the two strokes to bed as the industry for the most part has, aside from events
Mhm.
like this last weekend. And yeah, let's wake up and talk about one of the most important things when it comes to fitness and any type of like successful day. It starts with a good morning routine. How important is it, and how do you structure one?
I mean, it's something that just doesn't happen overnight. It's like if you're used to getting up at 7, then you got to try to go to 6:30 or 6. Each individual is different. It took me a long time to get to that point. I usually get up around 4:15, 4:30. I was training for an Ironman, but since pulled out of there, so I was training 3 hours a day there for a little while.
Hmm.
But that morning routine is very, very critical. I mean, again, I'm in the mix of changing mine a little bit now, where maybe going to journal a little bit before I go to the gym or meditate a little bit. I'm just trying to look for something different and some other areas to grow in. And we all have 24 hours in a day, so that morning routine is very critical. and then I'm always trying for 7 hours of sleep. So, by the time you get up 4:30, I mean, you're looking to trying to be in bed by 8:39, and if you do it right, you should be falling asleep pretty damn quick by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, 9:30. Most people should be considering lights out. And I'm sure there's more than a few people listening to this roll their eyes at that, but it's legit, man. Like in order to to get yourself up at the appropriate time, which meaning 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning on a regular basis. If you're going to bed 11 o'clock midnight, like that's not sustainable. It's not
No,
going to be something that you can do on a regular basis, and if you are able to do that, you're going to be running on empty. You're going to have high insulin levels and all that fun stuff that comes along with that. You're going to crash. You're going to bonk. You're going to crave salty, shitty food. Yeah, like first and
it.
foremost, get some sleep, but then yeah, a good morning routine is
I mean,
very,
just
very important.
I mean, just to let everyone know as well. It's like I did that two-stroke cup. It was a long day. I was up Sunday morning. I cleaned the house. I borrowed a van from work. I had three dirty bikes. I went to work. I washed all three bikes. I totally cleaned the van.
Hmm.
Come home, and I was pretty smoked. And then I got up at 4:30 and went to the gym on Monday. But Tuesday morning, I couldn't get out of bed. I was smoked. Like Tuesday was a day that it caught up with me. So I did not get out of bed. I slept till 6:15 or something like that. But I was off that day. I didn't get my routine in. I was kind of a little rushed, and started to walk the dog and started to do meal prep and all that sort of stuff. So, it is something that it takes a while to work on, and I think some of it really comes down to your goals and what you're chasing. I mean, if you don't have goals and deadlines, then you don't really care what time you get out of bed. So I think a lot of it has to do with goals as well.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. When you have a direction and you have some purpose throughout the day, that is certainly going to help you grab grass and growl. Before we flip things over to talking some more moto, what do you do to sort of like freshen up your morning routine? Routine can become quote unquote routine, and it can get stale. You mentioned journaling or mixing in some different things that could kind of like create more mindfulness and whatnot. What are some things that you've utilized in the past that have sort of put some race gas in your day?
I mean, it does. I mean, like, when again, I mean, I struggle just like everybody else. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't spring out of bed and go, "Oh, yeah, I'm ready to roll." It's like, I might wake up at midnight and then I go, "Oh man, I got 4 hours." And then that's playing on your mind. I got to get up. And then, so that is the mundane of training. I mean, some people live for it. I mean, I do too, but it plays on you a little bit. So 4:30 again, I got to get up. Can't I just sleep in? But that's the discipline that you need to make it go. I mean, when I was training for the Ironman, I had some different routines where I would either swim or lift in the morning and cycle at lunchtime or try and run. So that kind of broke it up. I'm going to still continue to swim. Um, so yeah, those goals are, I struggle with it, and it ain't easy. And it's, but there's all sorts of little things that can help you along the way where, hey, go put the alarm in the bathroom. So
Yep.
you got to get out, of bed, right?
Hmm.
Because usually when
Yeah,
you get out of
I
bed, then
do.
you
I
got
have
to,
my I have my light alarm clock, the one that lights up. It's located across the room. I can't reach it from my bed. I have to physically get up.
right. So, I mean, they're good little indicators to, make you go. And then again, like, your goals and what you're chasing, that they're always that usually makes you get out of bed trying to be better every day.
Hmm. Killer. So I appreciate that. Hopefully, some people can put that into good use. And like I said right off the hop, if you're looking for next level programming, someone who can help you get to the next level, reach out to Hoppo. The email is
Hoppo02@gmail.com, or you can go to Instagram at Hoppo Hoppo, or the website is hoppofit.com. So any of those three platforms will get you a hold of me, and we can jump on a call, fill out a form, find out where your strengths and weaknesses are, and what sort of time you have to train and where you're at in your fitness journey, because that all depends on how hard or easy the program can be for you.
Perfect. So before we flip things over to Taylor Sanvido from Race Winning Brands Canada, let's talk some big news. Came down today. Mikel Harup, he'd been racing or was had started the season with the in the MXGP series with Triumph. He sustained an injury and like basically kind of derailed that portion of his season. And with Jalek Swole out, that leaves a spot and a bike open for him to come over to the US and participate in pro motocross with the Triumph team. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a cool injection into the series. He's going to run number 107. He'll be switching from, I believe he was in Thor gear, and now he'll be head to toe in the FXR gear. I'm excited about this. This is kind of big news. Anytime we get a European coming over, those guys specialize in motocross. And yeah, he'll be in full flight. And he has that extra, basically like a 4 week head start on all the testing and the training and all that fun stuff. He'll be in full flight when the gate drops for the opening round.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for him, it's an opportunity of a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, yes, he wanted to race the GPs and be successful and fulfill his contract there. But as fate has it, as you say, I mean, his other opportunities have arisen, and maybe it was already talked about that he was going to be coming to the US in a year or two. We don't probably know that, but it's definitely good to see those guys come across. It's good to see that the company is open to that stuff because sometimes they don't like to do that, right? Because you might get a taste for it or whatever and doesn't want to come back. And there's all that sort of stuff that can go on. But I think for him, it's going to be a great opportunity, and it's a great opportunity for Triumph to, have some cross branding across the Atlantic, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a cool injection into the series. I like seeing the Europeans come over and running the a number in the 100s. It's usually like yeah, we've seen in the past 100, 101, 102. There's going to be 107 for Harop, and I honestly I immediately make him instantly a top 10 guy, if not possibly a top 5 guy, depending on how quickly he's going to be able to adjust to some of these tracks. Yeah, there's some top flight talent, not only on his team in the form of Austin Forkner, and all the way through the 250 class. He's going to have to deal with more than a couple of guys that we're going to mention in this podcast. But I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No, it's good. Like I said, I just love the brand is and same as KTM, I guess, to an extent, where they're okay with bringing guys across and sampling and sending them back, and which I think is good. I think that's what a manufacturer should do. Give some opportunity. It's more brand awareness, and yeah, it's just good publicity, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So, with that being said, let's flip things over to Taylor Sanvido from Race Winning Brands Canada. We'll talk Recluse. We're going to talk Pro X, maybe a little bit of Wiseco as well. But yeah, we'll be right back here on the Big MX Radio podcast with Taylor Sanvido. With me on the line, a very special guest from Race Winning Brands Canada, Taylor Sanvido. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for making some time for us here on the podcast. And I think the question on a lot of individuals' mind is, what the heck is Race Winning Brands Canada, and what do you do there?
Well, originally started as Wiseco Canada on its own. We've now morphed into Race Winning Brands. Race Winning Brands is a company that owns brands like Pro X, Recluse, Wiseco, JE, tons of other brands as well in the automotive world. But I'm in sales here amongst Adam. A lot of people know who Adam is. And we're here basically being the Canadian factory distributor for all of these companies.
So it seems like every time that I ride my motorcycle, there's usually a parts bill that comes along with that. Whether that's my inability to tighten things down on the mechanic side of things, or just the fact that this is a rough and tumble sport where things end up breaking. That's where Pro-X comes in. That's where Wiseco comes in. That's where Recluse can also fill in as well. Like when it comes to race winning brands, this is sort of something that's sort of morphed over time to be on its own Canadian entity. How important is it that Canadians can, regardless of what the part is, they can source that out through you guys and a pretty robust catalog, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here to help. All of our pricing is in Canadian. We're working on getting a website running to have all of our brands under it, so you can actually go and directly purchase from our website, or you can give us a call right now. We do sell direct. Uh, but the nice thing is you're not paying any duties or taxes. There's no surprises. You're just paying the regular tax. Shipping is all in Canadian. It's all local. And it's nice because with everything going on right now, there's no surprises. It's the price we say it is the price it is.
Certainly. And yeah, I've certainly had a ton of situations where you order something out of, it doesn't even have to be out of the States, could be anywhere. It gets hung up at the border. I wanted to go ride on Saturday. Box doesn't come on Friday, so my entire weekend is wasted. And the fact that yeah, like more often than not, this is a perfect example when I once ordered a set of wheels from WUSA, unbelievable company. I love John Anderson and those guys down there, but they cut 25% off the wheels
Mhm.
after shipping, duty, and whatever other charges were placed on there with the like getting them to me. They actually ended up being more expensive. Like I still ended up saving some money on the wheels, but either way, it was the same amount of money as if I had gone down to California and purchased them myself.
We hear that all the time here, especially when people didn't know that we existed. Uh,
Mm.
they've been like, "Oh, we've been running Wiseco pistons, Prox clutch plates forever. We didn't know that you guys were there." Once it gets shipped across the border, it ends up being more than if they bought directly from us.
Yeah, exactly that. So, yeah, for those who are listening, if you happen to be in Canada, Race Winning Brands Canada, you can call and you can order direct. Do you have the number offhand?
It's actually easier to email
Okay.
Sales Canada at racewinning or rwb.com.
Okay.
Um, we also do have a phone number. Please let me look that up quickly because I
I
don't call
I did not
myself
prepare you for
often, you
this.
know.
I did not
Um,
prepare you for this whatsoever.
yeah, that's okay. The best phone number to reach us at if you want to call directly and speak to me, it's 519-537-6281.
Fair enough.
That's a local number.
Perfect. Yeah, that is that's an unterrible number.
Yes, it is. Trust me, I know all about that.
Which side of the Battle of Ontario are you currently sitting on? Are we a Leaf fan? Are we a Sens fan? Like it's starting to heat up.
I don't know. Like, I feel like since we are so close to Toronto here in Woodstock, I'm gonna say a Leaf fan, but really, I only get involved in hockey during the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, but I'm in. I don't know. I don't want to be let down like every Leaf fan has been let down, but there's high hopes there with the way the game went yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. 2-0 lead over those pesky Senators. And as a Jets fan, I hope that you guys get to the second round and get absolutely dismantled by whoever you play. So
Yeah, we'll see if I'm invited back on a podcast after the playoffs are done. I guess we'll see.
yeah, oh hey, if the Leafs go all the way and get it done, yeah, I think that like I just have to go into a dark silent place for a little while and like digest the reality that the Leafs have now won a Stanley Cup, but we're not quite there just yet.
I was gonna say they've
Um,
never won in my lifetime, so
no, you could be a
no.
senior citizen and have never seen them win.
Yeah.
The last time the Leafs won a Stanley Cup, their goalie wasn't wearing a mask. That's
Maybe that's
insane.
what our problem is. We masked them up and now it's just gone downhill.
Yeah, tell Stolars to take his mask off. But
Yeah.
we're starting to lose the motocross crowd with the hockey talk.
Yeah.
But so let's get into the race winning brands themselves. I had Kevin Bailey on this podcast about 1 month ago for the fantastic release of the brand new Apex Clutch.
Mm.
And it's an absolute game changer, and it has been for basically every single team that's been using it in the pros. First and foremost being Star Racing Yamaha
Mhm.
in the States, but also some teams in Canada use it as well. Before we get into who's using it up here in Canada, what makes the Apex such a game changer?
Well, see, it's just it's taking the torque drive and basically essentially beefing it up. You have extra plates in there. It's a lot smoother. It transfers the power to the wheels, so the rear wheels so much better. and people are loving it. Every time I hear someone talking about it, everyone is talking about how consistent the engagement is, how like you're not fighting with the lever as much. It has better feedback. You're getting more control over it. If you have a clutch system that runs the coil spring clutch system, you can actually adjust it on the fly, which is a huge thing. People love that.
Yeah, you do. And so how does the system differ between like say a cable clutch on a Yamaha or a hydraulic clutch for a KTM like my bike?
It's built heavier duty. You have it's also built out of a material that allows it to not heat up as much, so you're not burning through plates as fast. You're not ruining your ride for the weekend.
Yeah.
The adjustment alone is worth it. All I have to say about it, again, it's new for us here. We're
Yeah.
excited to have it. It's been tested, it's bulletproof. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Certainly. So who which team like is Walton Kawasaki using the the
They
recluse
aren't
system
yet
or
just because it just got launched.
okay.
So we do work closely with Walton Cowie and Gopher Dunes, GDR Honda.
Hmm.
We They need severe testing on it. We haven't launched them here yet. We're working
Okay.
on getting together with the teams to see how they feel. Right now, Walton Kawasaki runs one of our other brands in their bikes for the clutch system, and they love it. They run Pro X, and for the quality and how hard they ride their bikes, it's impeccable.
Fair enough. Yeah, that would be some good feedback from one Phil Nicoletti, who recently signed on to the team. He's a bit of a grumpy Gus at times, but I'm sure he's grinning ear to ear, popping the clutch on the Pro X system. Look, so like it's just interesting that you guys distribute multiple brands that essentially in some ways sort of compete with each other. That they both create a high performance clutch package that you guys are able to offer to weekend warriors like myself, as well as top flight pros like Phil Nicoletti. Like when it comes to a Pro X clutch system, like what would you say is the biggest advantage there?
The OEM quality, but not the OEM price. So a
Okay.
lot of people love running them. The plates seem to last longer. You're not getting the bluing on the friction plates themselves, which seem to be a common issue. It's just people love them. I've heard so much good feedback from Pro X, no complaints. We never have any issues with them. I'm not going to say never, but very few, minimal to none issues with them. And we have our race teams running them. You from an everyday rider to a race team, the flexibility is unreal.
Yeah, no, like when weekend warriors like myself, we want to buy maybe one clutch a year and have it work for us the entire year. Like I don't know, maybe some people ride more than I do, but I can't imagine going through more than one clutch in a year's time. And it's not just like clutches and pistons as well. You guys have full drivetrain components as well. I was talking to Kevin about the chains and sprockets.
Yes.
Like this is on par with anything else on the market.
Exactly. And the nice thing about our Pro X chains and certain clutch components, they're actually made by the OEM manufacturers for the chains.
Oh,
So
really?
if they're made, a lot of our stuff is actually just made by the same people that supply the OEM companies,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I
way
guess those
lower
companies have to get
price.
it from somewhere, and then you
Yeah,
guys source out those companies and say, "Hey, why don't you make our stuff as well?"
exactly, exactly.
That's awesome. So what would you like? I don't know if I kind of prefaced this in our emails prior to, but is there one particular uh like product or a couple of different products from ProX that like sell better than anything else? Like, is there something that sort of flies off the shelf that you're always kind of like, huh, we sell a lot of that?
Absolutely. I think our biggest thing would be the connecting rods, minus the piston side of things, but for maintenance, upkeep, our connecting rods fly off the shelves. They're double forged. They have precision oiling systems. They're built with super tough alloys, and they come with everything, the crank pin, bearings, washers, and it's easy. You buy one kit, you don't have to source everything. It's everything to rebuild the crankshaft essentially.
There you go. That's everything you're gonna need. And then on top of that, to keep the engine nice and clean and running smoothly, you guys also offer air filters, which
Yes.
some people are very strict as far as like what brand they choose to use. They use that brand from the Netherlands, Twin Air.
Yeah.
This just in, Twin Air makes Pro-X?
So they do. We've rebranded them as a Pro X. It's made in the same factory. It
Okay.
has the dual stage bonded foam. It keeps the smallest dirt particles out, but the airflow high. It also has the flat ceiling ring, keeps the dirt and sand. You know, everyone loves riding in a sand track, and it's just one of the cleanest air filters I've ever seen. We've had nothing but positive feedback.
That's excellent. So, like when it comes to feedback that you're getting, are you talking specifically of like Canadian test racers from publications or from like just your everyday Joes like me?
Just everyday Joes, because we are so close to the GDR track, come race weekend, we have tons of people stopping in just to buy air filters, oil filters, brake pads, just simple upkeep stuff. And every person I've heard that runs a Pro X air filter has been nothing but impressed by them.
Interesting. Is Race Winning Brands Canada also like a retail spot?
Yes, yeah, you can actually come in. Just give us a bit of a notice just to make sure we do have the parts that you need.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can pop in, come by, see the warehouse. It's actually pretty cool, especially if you're really into the sport. And then it actually allows people to see all the brands that we offer.
Interesting. So, and that also includes on the automotive side as well. Like, is there one particular brand that's sort of under the umbrella that like has people don't know enough about?
I would honestly say ProX.
Okay,
Like Wiseco's done a very good job.
of
They
course.
Everyone knows Wiseco, everyone knows Recluse. But I think Wiseco did such a good job at they're well known in the piston world. Recluse is well known in the clutch world, whereas ProX has such a wide range of products that
Hmm.
people don't know exactly everything they offer.
Right.
They're huge in the snowmobile industry. People love putting Pro X pistons in their sleds. But then when we get into the MX side of things, people are like, oh, they sell brake pads, they have oil filters, like clutch cables, and it just goes on the list of things. They basically have your whole bike covered, internal engine part wise or maintenance wise.
So basically, any motocross bike maintenance that anyone who's listening to this is currently neglecting and not taking care of, yeah, they can dial you guys up and get sorted
Hit
out.
your girl up. Hit your girl
Yeah,
up, and she
yeah,
will get you sorted out with all your
get
maintenance needs
there you go.
and
Get
for an affordable price.
at the right price as well. So a lot of people when they think of Recluse, they instantly think of the like the auto clutch.
Yes.
And I think I talked to Kevin about this is sort of like dispelling the idea that that's all you guys do. Like you guys
Exactly.
have you do have the auto clutch. It's been extremely successful, especially in off-road applications. But a manual clutch is also an offering that you guys have, and yeah, like I said, Star Racing Yamaha, maybe the most preeminent team in all of racing right now. That's who uses it.
Yes, yeah. And the nice thing about Recluse is once if you want to stick to the manual side of things, you can actually just purchase certain parts and they work with a factory basket. So you don't have to be buying an upgraded basket. You don't have to, and the plates are just built so much stronger. The wear and tear on them's half of what, an OEM would be. The oil, like the system, the cooling system in them, it's absolutely phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to go to the factory, it's one of the most interesting tours I think I've done.
I have to check that out. What percentage of people buying a Recluse clutch do so for the fancy clutch basket cover?
Well, it's a very expensive, fancy basket cover, I'd say. Um, Sometimes there's some special edition basket covers they do, and people
Mm,
love those.
yeah,
Me personally, I just want power. I just want to
yeah,
go. So whatever basket's on it, as long as it's working, is good by me. Anybody, Recluse just did such a good name at making their name. So
yeah.
it's more. Everyone loves to see Recluse on the side of a bike, I think.
Yeah, no, it's that brand recognition that lets you know that yeah, I'm probably gonna grab this whole shot right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're probably gonna be looking. You look check out the clutch basket cover, and then you can check out the rear fender
Yeah.
for the rest of this moto. Um, Pro X is a brand that, like I said, people a lot of people don't know about a lot about. I think the perception is that they're kind of like a jack of all but a master of none, and I think that's sort of a misnomer in the fact that um like so many of the parts that you guys offer are, like you said, OEM quality, not the OEM price, and like anyone listening to this is that's been to the parts counter knows that when it comes to pricing out like OEM parts, like if you have your jaw drop of what some of the OEMs like charge to actually replace some of those parts. That like that must be like a good feeling for you guys to be able to offer that to people when yeah they're looking for a solution. They still want to have the quality, but they don't want to break the bank.
Exactly. And that's kind of where we're exceeding, like we're and the availability on a lot of OEM parts these days. I don't know. I find
Yeah,
a lot of stuff is on back order. I don't, but we're getting it from the same supplier, so I'm not sure. I don't know. Our part availability seems to be a lot better, especially when it comes to the connecting rod lineup, piston lineup. We have a huge inventory and we always keep the main things in stock. We always are ordering new Pro X stuff from Holland. We're constantly getting shipments in. It's just, I feel that I would call it an OEM plus company. So it's better than OEM, but you're still getting the same quality.
there you go. I don't know why you had to throw KTM Canada under the bus like that, but hey, whatever.
No big
Um,
deal.
yeah, no, I got a local dealer that I have bone to pick, but with just like the like mini rant, like there's literally one dealer in Manitoba that I will trust the parts guy and them to actually get me what I want and in an expedient fashion. It's a sad state of affairs, but hey, I could just call you guys
Exactly.
and just cut out the middleman because they're gonna end up calling you for me. So
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes. What about older model stuff? Does Pro X offer like I got a 2004 KX125? You got a piston for me?
Yeah, absolutely. They actually make going back to like TTRs and
No
they,
way.
they have that's the other nice thing is a lot of OEM manufacturers discontinue parts after so many years.
Hmm.
So Pro X sees that market. Yes, like, your professionals aren't riding these old bikes, but
Of course.
the dad and their son out back are taking it in the back trails. You
Yeah.
know,
And it needs
during
a piston.
COVID, we ran into that where people were, going to the back of their garages and finding that old dusty YZ125, and they're like, let's get this thing running again. And we saw the market and we grabbed it.
Hmm.
If there's no one out there, we probably do have it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What like through your travels, what has been the most obscure motorcycle that you've had to source out parts for?
I get them every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're kind of people will do like a Google search and then, Wiseco or ProX will pop up just as piston manufacturers. I get calls for like 1960 bikes, CB750s. I don't know, just like there's so much stuff that we do offer, but then there's obviously some stuff we can't offer because, they made them from 1989 to 1990.
Yeah.
So it's just there's such a huge array of parts. The Prox catalog is absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
As long as it's a sort of, common bike, if even if it is older, even in the 70s or 80s, we probably do have something for you.
That is absolutely wild. Yeah, some vintage fans might have just perked their ears up that they're gonna
Yeah.
have to stock up on some pistons. Like I know myself, like sourcing parts for my now ancient Kawasaki's. Both of them are over 20 years old, which is like they're old enough to vote, which is insane. And drink in this country. But yeah, it's like to be able to get parts for it and to be able to ride it knowing that like, okay, if this thing happens to have an issue, I can put it back together. That's a little peace of mind, honestly. Because like that gives a person an opportunity that maybe they can't afford a brand new bike, but they can go
Mhm.
on Kijiji, or they can go on Facebook Marketplace, find themselves like a reasonable like a decent used bike, and then use you guys to freshen it up.
Exactly, exactly. I'm a big fan of surfing Facebook Marketplace and
Ooh.
finding, old blown up bikes and, seeing if I can fix them for a good deal, obviously, because,
Yeah.
Procs with, oh, like they even offer fork seals. They offer, it's just carburetor rebuild kits, everything you could
Really? Okay.
possibly need for maintenance wise, we've got.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and then you probably get a decent employee discount. So
Oh, absolutely. And cool
yeah,
t-shirts.
and cool t-shirts. I never got one of the t-shirts, so
Oh
I don't know
boy,
what
you got
happened.
to talk to your sales rep about that.
I think I am.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll see what I can do. I could get something set out there.
Oh, we're certainly gonna send you over a parts list before, and like it's basically like moto season is essentially started here.
Oh,
It
yes.
showed up quick, with the snow sort of, it hung on and hung on and hung on, and all of a sudden just snap your fingers, and yeah, we're kind of basically full blown summer. Although it was raining and crappy out yesterday.
Mhm.
Uh, like, how excited are you guys to go to some races this year? I'd assume that when I roll into Go for Dunes, not only for the media launch in a month's time, but for round four of the series, I believe, you guys will be on hand slinging it.
Oh, absolutely. Round one of AMO was just this past weekend at Gopher Dunes, and it was good. It was
Yeah.
Dylan Wright doing his thing, and it's nice to be back. I am not a big fan of winter, and let me tell you, that first opener at GD, I'm like, yes, it's summer. This is it. This is so exciting. I don't know. It was a good race. It was tough, just seeing everybody, but I'm super excited. We all are here to be, back again this year. We'll see how it goes.
Who did Dylan have to contend with, or was he just gone?
Oh, would they call him the King of Ontario?
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty special. Like he wins nationwide. So in your own backyard,
Yeah.
on the track that the team owns, I would like to think that he could take home a W.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we have our other local guy, Tanner Ward,
Yeah,
very well named.
he's
He's
standing behind
local,
you.
local.
He's
Yes,
looking a
I
little bit
have
light.
his old his jersey from last year with Team Green, and he won first. So I don't know if it has to do with the parts. I will give Tanner
At least
he at least gets like
14% of the
exactly.
84% of the
Yeah.
credit.
We love you, Tanner. Don't worry. But yeah, I'll give him 14. The rest was all us, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. I like it. I like it. Awesome. Well, this has been extremely informative. I think that for those who are currently listening, if you happen to be in Canada, you're looking to do some maintenance, let's be honest, you've got way too much time on the piston. The chain and sprockets needed to be replaced hours ago. Do exactly that. Dial up Race Winning Brands Canada. Or like, can they also source you guys out through a dealership as well?
Absolutely. Go to your local dealer. If they offer Wiseco or Pro X or Recluse, they are buying directly from us.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm sure a lot of people have better relations with their local dealers, especially when you start getting into different provinces. So
Yeah.
yeah, just hit up your local dealer or give us a call here. We're in Woodstock, Ontario. Or maybe if you see us when you're driving by to hit up Go for Dunes. Pop
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, you're heading off to the track to get some throttle therapy. Pop in, grab yourself an air filter, because if anything needs to be replaced, it's that damn air filter. And that is yeah, top quality. Taylor, this has been fun. I really appreciate you taking some time to talk race winning brands with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And we're back, Big MX Radio Podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that 25-minute conversation with Taylor from Race Winning Brands Canada. She's awesome. I'm so glad that she wanted to come on and sort of highlight some of the lesser known facts about those brands. Hoppo, did you know that that their chains and sprockets are manufactured by the OEM suppliers over in Japan? Like instantly, I'm sold, because those are some of the best chains on the market.
Oh, I did not know that at all. That's
Yeah,
great news to know for everyone.
yeah, no doubt.
Very
Like,
good.
like, and like, Your 500, your 300 definitely needs a new chain and sprockets. So yeah, maybe I don't I think it'd probably be cheaper for my buddies over at Race Winning Brands period to send some stuff over to you. But I'm definitely going to place an order with Taylor over at Race Winning Brands Canada and get the 300 all freshened up for the new coming season.
There you go.
So first item on the docket, we got to talk about the 250 West Championship, which is essentially all wrapped up. Like Juju Bomir has not been himself ever since hurting his shoulder. Has been the coming out party for Cole Davies. But the bass drum throughout the entire series has been Hayden Deegan. He's won races. He's gotten arrested. He's looked back behind him instead of racing forward. Antics and Thor goes out and creates some like the orange jumpsuit and the prison gear. What are your thoughts on the whole matter?
Well, it's definitely entertaining. Uh, I mean, you're
That's a
right. I
word
mean,
for it.
for a guy that was so centered and direction on winning, he's definitely lost the way on that. Whether the drag race, the crashes, or whatever. I mean, he's definitely probably had some very, very humbling experiences that has gone, what the hell? We got to get back to basics because you're getting paid a lot of money. I'm sure sponsors, I'd love to be in a wall, fly on the wall in some of the conversations after, spending a night in jail. So yeah, but I mean, it's definitely, he's still a young kid. He's got a lot of learning to do. Maybe he'll look back at this and laugh one day, or whatever. But I mean, the goal is to win the championship. I mean, that's what he's paid to do. But seems like he's had some distractions or lost his way there for a little bit. But maybe he's back on track now. We'll see.
Oh, I think he's laughing about it now.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't think like it like no press is or there's no press that's bad press when it comes to Hayden Deegan. If anything, yeah, the whole getting arrested thing kind of like raised his stock. Like it kind of it's crazy to me that that can be a thing here in 2025. Like obviously not like there's guys in the past that have had similar things happen and that situation led to them being let out of their contract, not their lead sponsor or not even their sponsor. I'm sure he does get some like gear money from Thor because not only are they a sponsor of his team, but I think there's obviously some like direct connection with Thor that within a week's time they have limited edition gear printed and ready to rip.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah,
That was
it's
a little over the top.
well, someone tried to make light hard of it, right? I mean, obviously, like you
Yes.
said, in the past, people have been fired or cut from their positions for that sort of stuff. Obviously, they either looked at it as a great marketing thing, but hey, don't do it again type thing. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
Like I said,
maybe.
would have been love to hear some of those conversations from the initial that the first few phone calls. Hey, this is what's going down.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it is just like a quick phone call to all the main sponsors. Hey, this is what just happened. What are we gonna do to spin this in a good way? And you know what? Like, I know he's got a ton of fanfare. I know the kid. He's got supporters all over the world, and certainly in every pit and racetrack around North America, and yeah, like all over the world. The kid's got a great following. I think some of the antics and sort of the attitude, especially like the press conferences, like playing with his phone and stuff like that. Like just to me, it comes off as disrespect and like not just kind of like a I don't give a shit
Mm-hmm.
mentality, which I've never like that. Like to me, and that especially comes from like as a Canadian, and we're right in the throes of the NHL playoffs right now. And you can argue that. Like hockey players provide some of the most boring interviews known to man because they're just like, yeah, get pucks in deep, be a good teammate out there, and this, that, and the other thing. But I'll also say that like show me a better an example of an athlete that you'd want to look up to and all that fun stuff. I think that would definitely be more leaning towards that than what Danger or Hayden Deegan is currently portraying. But hey, that also might be me being 36 years old. Like at 18 years old, I might be gobbling it up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, it's different ages, different demographics. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I mean, I'm sure the heads of Yamaha or whatever probably weren't too impressed about it, but what were they going to do if they cut him? He was going to go somewhere else and win.
Yeah,
So they had to bin and Greer, just take it on the chin, really. But probably with either a fine, there was probably a fine of some sort there, and it's like, hey, you breached your contract.
yeah.
I'm not sure they're that's in their contracts because I've seen
Oh,
it.
for sure.
So,
Like
yeah.
you besmirch the name, like it's like you represent every brand that you work with by going out and when you're whether you're street racing or if you're boarding an airplane, you represent the companies that are on your sleeves and on your chest. And yeah, I don't know that he necessarily does that in the best light every time, but
Right.
like that's just the case.
Mhm.
Let's talk 250, like the 250 West Championship. I think he's got it wrapped up. Like he'd have to have a
Yeah.
catastrophic issue for that not to happen, and he still has the skills to pay the bills. It would not surprise me whatsoever to see him win one, if not both, of the last remaining rounds of the 250 West. But the 250 East Championship is right down to the wire. It's a handful of points separating one, two, and three. You have RJ Hampshire, who as he's been as much RJ Hampshire as he could possibly be this year, whether he's sliding into first, and I mean sliding into the first corner, that is, during a mud race, or going out there and being the absolute fastest guy. We've got both of those things. That is the full RJ Hampshire experience. He's only 3 or 4 points out of the lead. And then you have Seth Hamaker, which this broadcaster predicted was going to have an amazing season. He's doing exactly that. He's won multiple races, including his hometown race a couple weekends ago. He rolls into this weekend in Pittsburgh with the sole possession of the lead. But don't look now. But Tom Vial on the KTM also lurking. He hasn't won a race yet. He hasn't been the fastest guy, not one weekend coming out, but he's right there.
Consistency.
Yeah, he's held the red plate as recently as 2 weeks ago. So yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, he did. I mean, it's a bit of, that's what makes the lights east to west so fun to watch, right? Because it's so unpredictable.
short series.
Yep. I mean, Hammaker, he's in the position to win. He's got to continue to win. Yeah,
I think he's the best guy. Honestly, I like it,
for sure.
in the 250 East. I think he's the best guy. I think he's the full package. I think he's fit. I think he's strong. He's a stocky rider that packs a ton of power. And like he won early in his career. People forget that he won very, very early in his career.
Oh,
Was
yeah. He's overcome some adversity. I mean, like
and
he's
injuries,
one of
yeah.
those. That's what I mean. Like the injuries that he's had, and he's come back, and he's still fast and can still win straight away. It's like, man, if that guy ever gets a good season under his belt, he's
Look out.
dangerous. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And you
sure,
know what?
100%.
Honestly, like I'll just go ahead and say it. I think he's better outdoors.
Yeah,
Overall, I think he's a really, really talented outdoor rider. And everything that I'm seeing from him right now could easily translate into giving Hayden Deegan everything he wants, and the rest of the field for that matter, throughout this upcoming season in Pro Motocross AMA Nationals. So yeah, like if I had to ask you here on a Thursday, who you got for the 250 East, who you got?
for the championship or the win this weekend,
Both.
I'm going with Hammaker. I think he's on a roll.
Yeah, fair enough. I sense some pro circuit bias in there because you did work there for quite some time and might be there in the next couple of weeks if I can scrounge some cash together to get you to make me a cone pipe.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. And um, yeah,
Well, he doesn't have the red plate without consistency, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And winning races. So
Exactly. He's been
right now,
there. Every single time. Honestly, the only race that kind of set him back was that absolute hellacious mutter where, yeah, RJ didn't have a great race either, but and they were all I think all three of them were outside the top 10 or at least outside the top eight. So that's actually why they're still so close in points. Had Hammaker or RJ had good nights that particular night, yeah, that would have been it. But that was, of course, the absolute deluge, and like that looked more like a tractor pull than a motocross race. That was East Rutherford, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I think it's going to be good weather for, or at least I hope it's going to be good weather for Pittsburgh this weekend. I'm calling Hammaker to continue his winning ways. And honestly, I'm thinking the exact same thing for Chase Sexton. He has to win every single one of these races to control his own destiny and win this championship. This last weekend was a fucking clinic.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, last year at Hangtown he put on a clinic, and
Yes,
the next
second
week he couldn't
moto.
get out of his own way. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's do or die for Chase. He cannot afford to not win.
Is having that
Yeah,
situation something that can basically like really focus somebody, like somebody like when there is no margin for error, you have a zero option mentality that I must get it done, I can't make these mistakes, and because of for that reason you don't make those mistakes.
yeah. I mean, I think that sort of stuff affects everyone differently. I mean, like I said pre-show, I mean, Webb's not known for the being called the silent assassin, right? He's just going to sit there and, yeah,
Yeah.
he was off the pace last weekend, but you know that he's going to show up this weekend.
Oh, for sure. He's like Cooper Webb very much reminds me of a Chad Reed who could get his head kicked in on a Saturday, come back 7 days later, and believe he's going to win, and believe it in the to the core of who he is as a person. I don't think anyone on the line has as much mental strength and ability to bounce back from a subpar performance out there currently on the line than Cooper Webb.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely going to be interesting three races. I mean, if there's 9 points, three races, and he has to win.
Mhm.
The minute Cooper beats him, those odds just went through the roof to be able to bring that back. So
Roy,
Cooper,
at that point, you don't control your own destiny. If say he loses this weekend, gets second, Cooper Webb wins, he no longer can do it on his own. He needs Cooper to be outside the top two at one of the remaining rounds at either Denver or Salt Lake in order to collect the championship. He can't do it on his own.
no, there's no way. It's just not physically. Yeah, he has to. Webb would have to
Mathematically.
have a third, fourth, or a fifth, and he's good enough where he's second. If Chase wins, he's second.
Yeah,
There's no one in between now. So it's
100%.
just those two.
And so that being said, like I need your winners, like who you got for this weekend, and ultimately, you have to take your KTM. Oh, you're wearing a pro circuit hat right now, but you also have to take your KTM hat off and give me a prediction here. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Sexton.
Okay.
I think he's going to carry it. I think that he has matured a lot from a year ago. I think that he's in a good spot, and he's just going to have to keep it cool, calm, and collected. Simple.
It's an amazing sport, isn't it? How like these guys can just be like 4 weeks ago, everyone's like, what's like either what's eating Gilbert Grape, like what's eating Chase Sexton. Like guy is just a mental midget. He's making mistakes late in races, he's giving points away. 3 wins in a row. Like the guy looks unbeatable.
Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing worse than I've been there. You win or lose a championship by 1 or 2 points.
Oh,
That's heartbreaking.
Brock Glover knows that.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He'd have more champions. He has six AMA championships.
Six. Yeah.
Yeah, Glover has. Um, one of these days we just need to like kind of like go through like one of these legends' careers and just kind of talk about the ins and outs of what made those guys so special. That's like just earmark that for a podcast uh coming up down the way. But yeah, this has been awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to it. When's the next time that you're going to get an opportunity to throw a leg over a motorcycle?
I don't know. I this week I had a surprise with being given an entry into BWR in San Diego and a gravel bike. So I'm doing the BWR race this weekend on Sunday.
Cool.
So after that, I don't know. I'll look around and see. I'd like to do Mammoth, but there's a lot of hurdles in between that before I could do it.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'll see what's next time. There might be a race in Glen Helen in a couple of weeks, and we'll go out there and get some more ride. I really did enjoy racing. I mean, the results did not show on Two Stroke Cup, but like I said, that was never there's always a goal to get a result, but the goal was to
Yeah.
ride all three bikes, six motos, and drive out of there. So yeah, I don't know. I'll get through this weekend and let the dust settle. And there is a little mountain bike series, Quick and Dirty, starts up again tonight. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but we'll get back to it.
Fair enough, man. Well, I appreciate you making the time for the podcast. One last time here on the Big MX Radio podcast show. How can people reach out to you if they need they need to take their fitness to the next level? How do they reach out?
The easiest way is through the website, which is just hoppofit.com. Also, my email is hoppo02@gmail.com, or on Instagram, hoppo. Just send me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Love it, man.
Awesome.
Don't hang up just yet, but for podcast sake, we're gonna cut things off right there.